Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today on Tundra Tactical, we're going to be asking the simple but important question, is 224 Valkyrie dead? So make sure to stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and let's start the show. Alright guys, so today marks a historic moment for Tundra Tactical. We're going to attempt to analyze a growing issue here in the long-range shooting world. Now let's be clear here, we aren't actually going to be answering any real questions, but we are going to try to point out some of the things that we find to be relevant and attempt to raise what I'm sure will be an unbridled hate fest in the comments section. Wait a second, isn't that what we always do in our videos? Okay, whatever, we'll just roll with it. The broad topic of discussion today is something that has been in and out of the spotlight for around the last 6 months. The performance of the 224 Valkyrie, specifically the 90 grain Sierra Match Kings and the rifles/barrels that have been shooting it. The internet has been alight with fanboys and haters alike, each with their own arguments, delusions, excuse me, supporting their stance on the topic. I think you all know that we stand very firmly in the "we really want the Valkyrie to succeed" corner of this conversation. But we can't really ignore some of the stories coming our way from our fellow Valkyrie fans. The first story here is kind of a big one. JP Enterprises released this email to their customers early last week. Now I'll spare you the chore of listening to me read through the entire email, and I will paraphrase. JP Enterprises sent this email out to their customers early last week who have a current order in for one of their many different barrel options for the 224 Valkyrie, offering an update on their work and ultimately the customer's order. They state that since the initial production run, they have spent months testing every conceivable path for this round, and with lots of money and man hours invested in perfecting the performance, they have not been able to achieve a quality that matches up to their standard for customer satisfaction. They do go on to detail the specific areas of testing, which were barrel length, chamber geometry, bullet jump, and rifling rate of twist configuration. They do say that they were able to produce a number of barrels that did shoot the 90 grain SMK well, but not well enough to match up with the JP Supermatch standards. Following this, they tease an updated loading document that details both their findings as well as the recommendations for their customers in terms of load data. They then detail some of the tweaks and changes that they made to their current run of products post-testing. The 22-inch medium contour barrel will remain essentially unchanged. The 20-inch medium contour barrel is being phased out as it was deemed to be somewhat redundant with the 22-inch medium contour barrel, and the 20-inch light contour is changing from an XL gas port to a rifle port. Finally, they announced that the second run of production for barrels is started and should be available in late July, early August timeframe, with the third run due in October. They then close out the email by asking their customers to advise them on taking one of 3 different routes. Fill the order with the next available barrel matching the original order, change my order to either the 22-inch medium or 20-inch light barrel, or cancel my order altogether. Well, as much of a mouthful as this was, I want to make something very clear before we move on. We are not trying to hate on or call out JP. We have friends that work at JP Enterprises and use their products in most of our rifles. We simply are reporting the information as we see it and in the context that we believe to be correct at the time. The information was provided entirely by third parties and not by anyone working for or associated with JP Enterprises. Now that that's out of the way, I want to dive into the analysis of this email. First of all, I want to commend JP for communicating in detail with their customers. I'm sure we've all been on the hook for a product that we ordered at one point only to have it be delayed. And the level of communication received while in the state is directly proportional to your likeliness for verbal or written crazy talk. So, well done in that regard, JP. I also want to say good on you for the amount of test and eval that has been done to improve the product that we all want to see succeed. Not to mention making those findings public with your updated load document. The nagging question that everybody has, though, is will it ever be good enough? And I'm sure there's more than just a few unhappy people out there attempting to assault every FedEx truck that they encounter just to see if for some strange reason their new baby got mixed in there. Looking at the changes that have been made in this specific case, I'm left asking myself, what the hell is going on? Why is a company with the pedigree and history of such great products like JP Enterprises having such a hard time nailing this thing? In no way, shape, or form do I personally claim to understand the processes involved in achieving top-level performance with a brand new round, and in my admittedly limited thought process on the subject, I feel like there's something bigger going on here. So let's take a look at the round itself. The 90-grain Sierra Match King is a boat-tailed hollow point bullet designed primarily, not exclusively for, but primarily for long-range shooting rifles chambered in 224 Valkyrie. The bullet is not recommended for most hunting applications, although we have seen some people use it with arguably decent success. It is, however, very heavily marketed towards sporting marksmen and markswomen, markspeople, Marxists? I don't really know what I have to say to keep from offending everybody anymore, but they definitely marketed to the long-range community. Sierra is awfully proud of this bullet and mentions that it's setting all kinds of records in the long-range world. For those looking to shoot this bullet from a factory cartridge, the current gold standard is Federal Gold Medal Match. Federal claims that the bullet will remain supersonic past 1,300 yards with extreme resistance to wind drift and provide, and I quote, superb accuracy and long-range performance. This sounds amazing, right? Yeah, I thought so too. Well, then why can't JP Enterprises figure out how to get everything they want to out of this bullet? I mean, the 69-grain version of the bullet has been proven to be extremely competitive out of many different rifles. But for competition shooters who want to pinch every advantage, the 90-grain bullet is obviously superior in theory because it offers a better ballistic coefficient at range with a higher speed and less bullet drop. And it's not just JP that's having trouble either. Savage, according to some of our sources, have been quietly pulling their 224 rifles from the new hotness section of gun shops and sending them to their new home in the dreaded clearance section. On top of this, they've been allegedly providing tons of warranty work for owners of their Valkyrie shooting rifles. Now, while we don't have much in the way of public announcements or information, we are hearing scuttlebutt stating that neither company is now producing barrels that can consistently stabilize this bullet to their respective satisfaction. We find this interesting because personally, we found excellent performance from the 90-grain Sierra Match Kings from several different Hell Yeah rifles produced by this teeny little company in Blaine, Minnesota, Airborne Arms. My personal Hell Yeah rifle has the 20-inch Hyperion barrel with a 1-in-7 twist, and they do guarantee sub-MOA accuracy. And so far, at least after roughly 800 rounds, that guarantee has held up. Now, this isn't a shill piece for our friends in Blaine, but we do think it's worth mentioning that, at least in our experience, the problem might not be with the bullet, but possibly has more to do with the fact that some of the big players in the game are struggling to find a way to get this round under control. Both Sierra and Federal are recommending that their barrels shoot this round with at least a 1-in-6.7 twist rate. And since that is a really awkward twist rate, and I personally hate both decimal points and fractions, I'm very glad that the 1-in-7 twist is the most common choice for manufacturers. All jokes aside, however, Sierra did update their page on the day of filming this to state, Sierra recommends a 1-in-6.5 twist barrel for the number 9290 22 caliber 90-grain hollow point boat tail bullet. However, for cartridges like the Valkyrie that can push them out at over 2,650 feet per second muzzle velocity, a 1-in-7-inch twist rate barrel will stabilize the bullet correctly. Now, internet forums consisting of people much smarter than me have been filling up with debate over whether or not the 1-in-7 twist is actually adequate to get the job done. Some of the rifle/barrel manufacturers that have cracked the code on stabilizing this round are, maybe wisely, maybe selfishly, keeping their mouths shut on what their actual twist rates are and keeping that information close to the chest as proprietary information. I personally want to know exactly what's going on here and who's really dropping the ball. Why has our experience with the Airborne Arms Hell Yeah, paired up with the 90-grain Sierra Match Kings, been so much different from everybody else? Did Sierra mess up, and are they continuing to spread misinformation about the proper twist rate? Probably not likely, because there are rifles in the market that can get the job done. Is Federal screwing the pooch by putting out bad load data on their cartridge? We have heard reports of extreme velocity variance from lot to lot, sometimes up to 200 feet per second plus or minus. But due to the amount of reloaders who are struggling to get this thing to shoot straight from their barrels, that can't possibly be the only issue, can it? Let us know what you think is messing up down in the comments below and what your personal experience with this bullet has been so far. There are a ton of questions floating around out there, and I hope they get answered soon because the Tundra Tactical crew is totally digging this round, and if it doesn't get figured out, further innovation might possibly become stifled. Now, personally, I'm no rocket surgeon, but I think some of these big companies with their resources should be able to figure out how to skin this cat. So that about wraps it up, guys. If you dislike this video, then you're probably a 6.5 Grendel fan. But if you like the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and share it around with your friends. Consider subscribing to the channel and checking out our Patreon page to stay up to date on current and future content. And if you haven't done so already, head on over to the link in the description below to pick up one of the sweet new Tundra Tactical t-shirts. Thanks for watching, guys, and you can now find us on Instagram at Tundra Tactical MM. Alright, here's to hoping everything's right in this video, otherwise, God help us, we're gonna create a monster. Here we go.